Scoot over.
Well, good afternoon. I think I felt the sprinkle while I was standing over there, so I'm going to keep it, well, I'll talk until it rains. And I can hear those guys. Before I tell you what I want to tell you, I do have a letter to read from Congressman Phil Gingrey, who is obviously not here, but asked that we read this letter of endorsement. My fellow Georgians, I have known Trey Kelley for many years through his grassroots work in our party. Trey is a true conservative who represents a new generation of leader we need working for our state. I'm supporting Trey Kelley for state representative because his conservative family values are very similar to my own. Trey's small business experience provides a foundation to understand how to improve the West Georgia economy, which will serve his constituents well under the Gold Dome. I believe his knowledge on the issues currently facing Georgia and his common sense approach to finding solutions would be an asset to the Georgia General Assembly. I'm proud to endorse Trey Kelley and hope that you'll join me in working to elect him as your next state representative. Sincerely, Phil Gingrey. So, you got one good endorsement. One good endorsement. Some of y'all probably know my dad is a minister, and I grew up in and around the church all the time. And I remember one time when I was a kid, a few years ago, my dad started pastoring a new church. He went there the first Sunday, delivered the sermon, and he was at the back of the church shaking hands as people were walking out. And another little boy walked through the line, and he shook Dad's hand, and he said, "Pastor, that was the worst preaching I've ever heard." You know, my dad, you know, he's a nice fella. He just let the kid go on. A few minutes later, the kid came through the line again. He said, "Preacher, if that's the best you've got to offer, we're really in trouble." And so it kind of troubled him a little bit, but a few minutes more, and the kid came back again, and he said, "Preacher, if you can't preach better than that, you just need to go ahead and leave now." And the little boy's mom saw that he was going through the line over there, and she was worried, and she knew he was a mischievous little boy, so she ran over and said, Pastor, I don't know what he said. I'm sorry. He just goes around repeating everything everybody else says." And you know, we've heard repeated a few times that Trey's opponent, Rick Crawford, is telling folks that he's going to run it. He's going to be a Republican in the fall. After he gets reelected, he's going to switch parties to the Republican Party. Let me tell you, we don't need another rhino in the Capitol in Georgia, in Atlanta. We need a real constitutional. Yeah. And if he's just now figuring out that he might be a Republican, guess what? He's not. He's had plenty of time to figure that out. What we need is a real constitutional conservative, Trey Kelley, who knows what he's talking about when he talks about Republican principles, Republican ideals, because he lives them, he's worked for them, he knows them. That's why we need Trey to come to the Capitol. And if Trey's going to get there, he needs something from you. He needs your prayers. He needs you to get out and knock on doors. And he needs your money. And this is what we're here to talk about today, is getting Trey some money. Now, if you haven't written Trey a check yet, it's time to write him a check. And I hope everybody will do that before you leave today. Now, nobody likes to talk about money, but let's just face it, that's a part of what we got to do. We got to talk about money. We got to get money for Trey. I'm going to ask you to do it. I'm doing it, and I hope all of you will join me in doing that. Trey's going to make a great representative. He's going to be a great leader for our community, and I'm proud that we're going to have a Republican representing this area, and we're not going to switch it over to the Democrats in January. We have a pretty good Republican representative here right now in this area. We hate to see him be replaced by a Democrat. That's right. So good luck, Trey. Thanks for all you're doing, and everybody support Trey, okay?
Y'all want to come have a seat? Yeah.
I came out just in time for the sun.
I'm Craig Guyton. I'm a councilman in U Harley. And Trey called me probably 8 or 9 months ago and told me what the situation was, that U Harley and Taylorsville had been redistricted into the 16th, and we were currently represented by a Democrat. He told me he wanted to run for Republican for that office. And I said, okay. He said, I'd like to meet with you and tell you a little bit about myself. And he kept talking and talking, and I was still thinking, represented by a Democrat? No. One of our first meetings, though, I told him that the people of U Harley and the people of Taylorsville are very much happy that the type of representation we've had at the Capitol, and Representative Coomer, his conservative principles are unquestioned. And after getting to know Trey over the last few months, I can tell you that his are as well. I can appreciate what Representative Coomer said about Mr. Crawford. He's a fine man. I've got no problem with that. But he doesn't hold all the Republican ideals that I do or that you do, or he'd already be a part of our party. That's just a fact. He'd already be there before an election. He shouldn't have to ride the fence and tell both sides that he's happy with them in order to win an election. That's not what this is about. I have been honored to knock on doors with Trey and to go to events, and I tell you, he's been consistent in everything he says. He's a young man, but he's very wise in the way that he's already thinking. He's extremely conservative, and I'm extremely proud to endorse him. Thank
you. Senator-elect Chuck Huffstetler just got through a tough primary
campaign, yeah.
But let's give him a round of applause for doing so.
Well, it's a lot of people here that made that happen. I was in a three-way race, avoided a runoff. I know a little bit about running against rhinos. He's got one that's claiming he's going to become a rhino and switch over. I had a Roy Barnes Republican in my race, and got in there late. We had a great guy in the race. He dropped out, and I didn't get in until May. It was a sprint, and it was a hard race. It did well. I really appreciate. I knew in Floyd County, where I'm from, I would win, and I got over 60%. I didn't know I would get over 50% in Bartow County, and the only reason I did that was because of a lot of people here and the hard work that they did in this area, and I'm really looking forward to it. You know, on the House side, I'm not in his district on the House side, but in the House, because of redistricting, my entire life, I mean, I know a little bit about running against Democrats. My entire life, I've been represented in the House by a Democrat. Come January, for the first time in my life, I'll have a Republican representing me in the House. We worked hard for Bill Heath in his campaign in Polk County that he shares a lot with, and he had a great runoff and stays in there. He was important to keep in. This is the last piece of the puzzle right here. We get Trey in there, and we'll have a really great group, Christian, Berry, myself, some others, Bill Heath, that will work together for this area. This is an important race, and Trey's going to win this race because I've seen how hard he's been out working. The doors he's knocked on, that's real important, and he's doing the things that need to be done. The district is more favorable. Some of the precincts that have been added have been more favorable, but he does have to make sure he gets the message out. I'm one of the worst there is about fundraising probably, but we do need to raise the funds for him. Anything you can do to help him out will be greatly appreciated. We need him down there. He's a rising star, and will be there hopefully for a long time once he gets in. So thanks for your support, and I ask that you support him. We really need him down there. Thanks.
I just want to start off by telling you I'm going to be brief because I know everyone's ready to eat, and I do want to make sure we continue to have this good weather. But I'd like to first start by thanking Bruce and Lori Albee for having us here at their home today. They've been y'all have a beautiful place here, and for y'all to have us here just really means a lot to me. I had the opportunity to get to know Bruce. I guess right when we started kicking off the campaign back in January, and he's become a good friend to me. And then a couple months later, I got to meet his better half, and I know he'll agree with me on that with Lori. And I appreciate all the help y'all done and for having us here. I do want to also recognize a couple people that are here with me today, and that's my family. They mean a lot to me, and they've been with me in this race from day one. My wife Amy, she's over there actually still working, helping get some burgers off the grill. But I appreciate having having her here with me. And when you get to meet Amy, for those of you who you haven't already, I think on a Saturday in the South, there's nothing better than a good football reference, and I've definitely outkicked my coverage when it comes to Amy. So I'm proud to have her. And then I also have my mom's here with me today. My dad is usually with us. He's a pastor in Somerville, and his church is having a private baptism service today for an individual that has some disability. So there's only a few things more important to me than Republican politics, but that's one of them. And so I was glad that he had the ability to do that today. My two brothers, Lee and Matt, they're both great. They've been here working hard for me all summer and throughout this, and my grandmother as well. So I just always like to thank them, because I couldn't do that without them and my family. But also, I consider each and every one of you part of my family. Over this last, almost year that we've been in this race, and before I had the opportunity to come up and be involved with Lewis and the Bartow County Republican Party some when I was chairman in Polk County, and y'all have a great group over here, and it's because of the hard work that people like Lewis and Deborah and all the party officials put in towards making this a great party and a great county to live in, and it's because of all of your hard work that happens. Now, we have kind of hit around some about what my three-term incumbent Democrat opponents trying to go out and say, but each of you here know what the Republican Party stands for. And 5 months ago, each one of the candidates that's still on the ballot, and each candidate who got on the ballot had the decision of where they were going to align themselves. They had the choice of whether they would align themselves with the party of Barack Obama, or they could align themselves with our party, the party of Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan. They had the decision of whether they could align themselves with the party that believes in excessive government spending and higher taxes, or they could align themselves with our party, the party of fiscal responsibility, of cutting your taxes and limiting government's role. They had the decision to qualify with the party that believes we need more gun control, we need stricter gun regulations, or they could qualify with our party, the Republican Party, which believes that we should defend our Second Amendment rights. They had the decision that they could put their name and sign on the dotted line of the party that believes in Obamacare, or they could sign their name on the line for our party, the Republican Party, which believes we need to repeal and replace with patient-centered healthcare solutions with as little government intervention as possible. And finally, and most importantly, they had the decision to make to align themselves with the party that believes in federally funding abortions and gay marriage, or they could align themselves with our party, the Republican Party, which knows that it's important to stand up for those children who are yet to be born and for our pro-traditional marriage values. The Democratic Party hasn't changed their platform over the last 6 months. We've seen them consistently stand for what they put on their platform this last week. I know each of you here, there's a couple, just a couple races that have Democrats on them in Bartow. I know Paul Battles has one, and then we have and then Mosley. So it's important that we all get out and remember that. Do not allow anyone to say, no, I'm one of these Southern Democrats, because we hear that a lot. We hear around here a lot, because just right down the road over here, we know what the Southern Democrats did with the Speaker and what our House used to be like. But we have to remember there's no more Southern Democratic Party. There is only the San Francisco and Chicago Democratic Party. It's the party of Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama, and anybody who's willing to put their name on the ballot underneath them has to answer for every single thing that party stands for. We have some challenges here. We've got to continue to focus on our economic development in this area. We've got to continue to work for more student-centered education solutions. On this ballot in November, we're also going to have the charter school amendment. I'd encourage each of you to be an advocate for that as well. We need more options in education in our state, period. Charter schools aren't a silver bullet, but they're a start. And the decision comes down to whether you want a bureaucrat making your education decision or whether you want a parent and their child making their education decision. Finally, we've got to continue to strengthen our public safety in our state, to work to get drugs off our road. We've got to work to fund our GBI crime labs. We've got to work to continue to provide more GBI and Georgia State Patrol people out on our state highways and getting the drugs out of our community. And it's going to be a tough fight. We're going to have the Democratic Party lining up against us from the top of the ticket to this state house seat and below. The same groups that fight to elect Barack Obama are going to be trying to stop us. We're already seeing the unions try to take a big role in this election, and we know that we need to stand up. That'll make you cough. We've got to stand up to them because we know that they align themselves with Barack Obama, and we need your help today. I appreciate everyone who's came out to show your support. The words from such great elected officials as Representative Coomer and Councilman Guyton and Senator-elect Huffstetter, I appreciate that more than you could ever know. Y'all are doing such a great job. I look forward to working with each of you, and I look forward to working with each of you here. But I do need your help. I need you to continue to keep Amy and me in your prayers. I'm going to need your help. We're running a grassroots campaign. We're focused on working hard, knocking on doors, and getting our conservative messages out, because we know that as conservatives and as Republicans, we have the winning message when we get it to the voters, and so we're out working hard to do that. So I'd love to have you involved with our grassroots efforts. We have an email sign-up list that you can put your name on, and please be a part of that to stay updated with our campaign. I've got plenty of yard signs for people to take. I would love for you to do that and help me distribute them. Commit to making some phone calls for us. And then, you know, like we've hit on today, we need your help financially as well. I think any of us here who are elected officials can tell you this is our least favorite part. But I ask you to make an investment, not only in my campaign, but in this district and this state, because we're going to get up and fight for conservative principles and make a positive change. We're going to bring new leadership and a new direction to this 16th district, and I need you to be a part. Again, thank you all for being here. Please, we got plenty of food to eat, and I'm only going to ask you for one more thing before we eat. We're gonna have a prayer. My brother Lee is gonna ask the blessing for us. But immediately following that, could we get everybody together? Because I know some people have to leave. I'd love to get a big group picture of all of us, because I want the Democrats to know what strength we have coming towards them, that we are committed to these races and we're going to win. So if everybody will please lead us in our prayer, and then if everybody could join us for a picture, then we can get to the food. So thank y'all again.